Shalom, shalom, Akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a brief lesson. All right. Hey, breaking news. Okay. Breaking news. All right. Them boots have touched the ground in LA. All right. As you Akiyam and Akwatha are aware of, there's uproars of the people going down right now in LA due to ICE raids. And the Northern Kingdom's not having it, man. They're tripping. We're seeing Jacob's trouble get closer and closer into its perfection is what we're witnessing. Because contrary to popular belief, all right, as far as you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans outside of this truth are concerned, we're already in Jacob's trouble. Okay? We're in the beginning stages of it. You see? It's just going to spill over into its perfection. All right? When Neuro, all right, which Trump is likened unto Nero, and we know Nero's rap sheet consisted of him persecuting the Mashiachim, right, the followers of the Anointed, back in his time, back in 64, 64 AD, if I'm not mistaken, 64 AD, Khan, all right, where he actually set fire to Rome and blamed it on Jake, right? He was persecuting the Mashiachim. He was a complete tyrant. All right, the spirit he operated under was complete tyranny, man. All right, off his own mom. Okay, had his wife executed, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, he was a complete renegade. All right, he was offing senators. All right, had the elite on their toes, of the elite of their time on their toes. He was a complete renegade. All right, and we can see the spirit that Trump comes in. It's the same spirit as Nero. All right, and what you're gonna realize is that sending the National Guard to LA was not necessary, because all it's gonna do is it's gonna cause more strife. But this is what these demons want to do, because ultimately this is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai wants to do. Why? Because Jacob's trouble is upon you, Jake. Okay, and nothing's changed. Just like in the days of old, Northern Kingdom was evicted off of the land first. Okay? And then it's the Southern Kingdom soon followed. So this is what we're witnessing today. Ecclesiastes 1:9. There's nothing new under the sun. What is then is now. Okay? This is why evil E, right, the sword of the Lord, is making the Northern Kingdom the face of terror. Real time. All right? And they're on a mission. Okay? They're hell-bent to persecute the Northern Kingdom. All right, but hey, Southern Kingdom, don't think that you out of the woods. All right, you so-called Negroes. All right, you so-called Haitians, and you so-called Jamaicans. Okay, hey, listen, you are not out of the woods. Okay, because when Esau opens up on you, that's going to be Jacob's trouble in its perfection. Okay, because if you forgot, okay, if you forgot. This dude, Trump is talking about bringing forth citizens to prisons in El Salvador that they're trying to get operating. All right, and on top of that, you have detention centers. Okay, all throughout Babylon. All right, that they're going to be putting civilians in. when martial law is declared. All right, and things get real in the field, as they say in the world. Okay, and then that's when you're gonna be feeling that crunch. That's when you, Jake, are gonna really feel it, man. All right, we've been telling you from the elders and apostles on down, of Great Millstone on down to the like-minded men. We've been telling you, bro. We've been telling you time and time again to get yourself together, repent, get right with the Lord. All right, before it gets bad out here and you have no covering. All right, what did you do? You didn't listen. All right, now you're on TikTok crying. All right, talking about now you're waking up without your family or whatever because they done got deported. All right, hello. You got to get right with your power. But no, you want to continue to call upon, Guadalupe and all this other madness. You want to continue to make gods out of feathers and skeletons. You don't want to listen. You want to continue to be a reprobate. So this is the repercussion. This is the fruit for your behavior. You see? Repent, Jake. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is not playing. All right, and unless you want to fall victim, all right, to the modern day Assyrian that's going to be unleashed, which is Esau, you will repent. All right, it'll it will be wise of you to do so before it's too late, because the Lord's going to shake this thing up. You see, the Lord's going to shake this thing up. He's going to allow Esau to open up. He's going to allow him to do it. And if you're not on the side of the Lord, you're on the side of the wicked. All right, which means grievous judgment is going to rest upon you, man. But this is the time that we're in. All right, we're in the time where the Lord is shaking things up. Let's start with this. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9. In verse 1, and it reads, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, right? And we're measuring the times diligently through the prophecies, okay, that are jumping off of the pages. All right, prophecy is speaking. All right, and we see how cohesively, all right, these prophecies are coming forth. All right, as we get more tension occurring over in the east between Russia, Ukraine, Iran, and the daughter of Babylon, okay, them Palestinians and Israel, as all this continues to spill over, okay, and gets worse and worse with these other nations as well in the mix of it all. All right, you got I believe you got you got these other nations squabbling too, you know. With all this going on, you also have the MOTB, all right, coming into its fruition. You see the reality of the AI, okay, the reality of the Terminator, okay, and Demolition Man coming forth, okay. So you had to imagine that Jacob's trouble was going to just stop popping off at some point. You know what I mean? So when I heard what was going on in LA, I was like, there it goes. Because it only makes sense. It only makes sense, man. Okay? Jacob's trouble is going to come prior to those missiles flying. You see, and the phone chimed in. Jacob's trouble is going to come hand in hand with that MOTB. You see? Because that's going to be another reason why it's going to get chaotic out here. All right, when people come to the conclusion they gotta be part of technology and efforts to be able to put food on the table, man. Let's continue on. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, man. And we know that the world was created, all right, by Yahweh Shai and the Alahayim, right? Those 144,000 priests, all right, which are coined as the first fruits via the blueprint of Yahweh, okay? Listen, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and this is what we're witnessing, all right, we're witnessing earthquakes in diverse places and uproars of the people in the world. What's this mean? Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, because he declared the end from the beginning. And what we're witnessing is it manifest. You okay? Kahalayam la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We here.
Here's what we know so far. The LA County Sheriff's Department tells NBC News one person has been arrested and several others were detained following protests yesterday. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley announced on X that more than a dozen people were arrested for allegedly impeding federal agents. This morning, it's still not clear what charges they could face. Crowds quieted down overnight, but earlier in the day, federal officials clashed with several protesters at several locations as unrest ensued. NBC4's Annette Ariola live in our newsroom to break down what else is happening right now. Annette, good morning.
Michelle, good morning to you. A very busy 24 hours. Demonstrators erupted across LA, tensions reaching a boiling point, and now National Guard members are here in Southern California. And President Donald Trump has said that Marines could also be called in. This is the new video coming in from overnight showing the California National Guard arriving to the detention center in downtown LA. The Trump administration saying the deployment is in response to the protests that began Friday night over immigration enforcement operations that have resulted in clashes between demonstrators and law enforcement. Now, this video here from News Chopper 4 is as it flew over the federal building last night on Alameda, and you can see there dozens of agents coming out of the building to disperse crowds in downtown. At one point, they fired pepper balls and flash grenades to push back protesters. Now, the LAPD declared an unlawful assembly and moved the demonstrators off the streets. Our McCollum Medina was on scene last night speaking with those demonstrators.
Are you concerned at all about what's happening here, how they're responding to you guys?
I'm concerned because, honestly, like, we're peacefully protesting, you know? We're not throwing anything. We're not causing any damage, anything. I mean, there is graffiti, right? But at the end of the day, the damage was more cost to us.
Right, you have something called crisis actors. So you know there's individuals out there that are stirring up the hype. You know, sent by Esau in efforts to further bring a validation, all right, for the military to descend upon Jake. You see? And that's how Esau operates. You know, there's some other videos out there where people throwing rocks and stuff at the ICE vehicles or what have you. You know, there was a car on fire. You know, a lot of this stuff is being done by these crisis actors, man. You see? Hey, Esau, no, hey, he's something else, man. You know, he operates under a very deceptive agenda in efforts to get his way. So he can paint the picture, okay, on through his media, right, which is his witchcraft, media going back to medium, right, so he can paint a picture and he can create a boogeyman. You see? He can create a scenario that looks like it's in his favor. Okay? He can make you look like a complete a terrorist, man. But here it is, you're defending yourself. You know? This man has the audacity, man. But this is what he does. But at the end of the day, it's the works of the Lord. At the end of the day. You see, but you heard what old boy said. He was like, more was done to us than what we were doing to them. which is a common theme when it comes to dealing with Esau. And a lot of this is also theater too. We can't miss that point. You know? Anyways.
No, we're not throwing anything. We're not causing any any damage, anything. I mean, there is graffiti, right? But at the end of the day, the damage was more cost to us than we cost to them.
And our McCullough Medina was also caught in the middle of the melee. You hear there the flashbangs going off. He was standing very close to the news van, and then you see him being pushed out as the chaos unfolds. Now, Governor Newsom has also issued a statement saying that the federal government's decision to take over the California National Guard is, quote, purposefully inflammatory and will only escalate tensions.
See, it was purposely inflammatory. Okay, so there they go telling on themselves. Going back to the point we were making earlier, we got in Trump Nero, you know, operating in the spirit of Nero, right? Pretty much trying to find a reason to accuse Jake. You know, all right, pretty much sending in the troops is going to create a bigger issue than it needs to be. You know, but this is all part of the story. All right, this is all part of the story. But Jake is resisting, though. Okay, Jake is resisting because what Esau is doing, Esau is splitting up families, man. As he's always done. You know? Jake families, as he's always done. Splitting up Jake families, man. You know? Hey, Esau's going to pay for these things. We know. Obadiah tells us, man. You know, shame's going to cover him because of the violence against his brother Jacob. You know? But this is Esau's job. This is his job, man. He's on his job. You see? But Jake is resistant. All right, and it's going to get worse. Jake is going to continue to resist. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. Matter of fact, let's go here. Let me get this real quick in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter, let me get this in chapter 15. In verse 16, it reads, "For there shall be sedition among men." And when you get this word sedition, it goes into what? Sedition is illegal, in a legal context, refers to language or actions intended to incite rebellion against the government. And again, we mentioned those crisis actors, okay, that are sending bricks through storefronts and setting cars on fire and, you know, throwing Molotovs, you know, in the crowds of the SWAT team or what have you. You know, Esau has crisis actors working in efforts to make it seem like Jake is committing sedition. You know, through their actions. You see, but in reality, it could be a combination of both things happening. But at the end of the day, you can see how via the Biden administration, they were letting, you know, all these so-called quote-unquote migrants in, right? And now that through the Trump administration, now they're going to the same location they were letting them in and letting them hang. They're going into those locations again. They obviously came to the hood, you know? Esau knows where he moved them, what certain areas he moved them into or whatnot. You know, all that was to play this moment out. You see? To give Esau just a reason to use the sword. You see? Esau's not slick. He think he is, but he's not. The hopeful elect know what this dude's about. Right? 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. "For there shall be sedition among men," which we're seeing that, right? "And invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." Right? And we see this behavior. They're not regarding their kings nor princes, man. Via those uproars of the people, man. Look, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power, man. And it's going to get worse. This is going to come to a city and town near you. Okay? Just because it's not touching your front doorstep doesn't mean you're not going to feel the effect of it. You see? This is going to get, hey, listen, it's going to get bad, man. It's going to continue to get worse. Okay? And the scriptures tell us that because this is a necessary evil. You see? And efforts for the kingdom to come. Let's get this real quick. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse 28. Verse 29 is the point, and it reads, "But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come." Look, and we know the destruction is going to come in its perfection via the missiles. Okay, when the Third World War comes into its perfection. All right, and missiles are shot from continent to continent. All right, that's going to be the destruction that's going to come. You see? If therefore that which is sown, but it's a build up to that. You see? If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, right? So Esau's world has to be turned upside down. Look, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, right? And we know the evil is sown where? In Babylon the Great, right here. Revelation 17:5, man. This is the abominations of the earth. You see, look. And ultimately the whole world is operating under an evil vibration because Esau is ruling the world. Job 9:24. Look, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. So look, it's not going to get better. Okay, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Okay? And this is what we're telling you, Jake, to repent. Repent while you still can. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Shalom.